Welcome back to the Padilla Family Homestead. This is the last video in a trio of videos that I am recording tonight. So there is a gluten-free pie crust video that is already out, and then a turkey pot pie video that I used that pie crust in that should be out already. And then this one is an extra fun one, and we are making hand pies. And they're gluten-free, they're delicious, we're using that crust. So if you have not watched the gluten-free crust video, stop now, go back and watch that. I will link it in the description below. And then once you have that made and chilling in the fridge, and then you can come back and follow these instructions. So you can use lots of different things to make the ham pies. We're doing sweet ones. I really want to try making savory ones. I would love to try to make like a Hot Pocket style. I have not tried that yet, so I'm not gonna do that on video because we haven't tried it yet. But I have my last jar of apple pie filling that I canned at the end of 2022. And so I'm going to use that as my filling for the hand pies. You can buy store-bought filling. You can use like jams. There's all different kinds of things that you can use to put into these. So as we get going, you can be inspired by whatever you want to make with this. All right, so we are doing the pie crust. My husband prefers these rectangular ones, and so I am going to show you how to make those. If you wanted to, you could make these with a biscuit cutter. I got these years ago at Target, actually, and these are the Joanna Gaines biscuit cutter things. So I have done the large one, and that worked well. I just put two on top of each other. But I'm not doing that today because we like the rectangle ones better. So I'm going to break off this pie crust into two sections here. This is the last of the pie crust from my video. And I want to roll this into a rectangle, so I'm going to keep it in a more rectangular shape. While I'm working on this, I'm going to put this pack in the fridge because I do not want it to get too warm. So when working with this pie dough, it's really important that anything gluten-free you don't want to do too much flour with. And so when we go to roll this out, we're going to roll it between two pieces of parchment paper. And you really don't want the butter in the dough to melt outside the oven. You want it to melt inside the oven. That's how you get your really flaky crust. So we're going to work on this. And because I've been doing a lot and the house is warmer, depending on how this behaves after I roll it out, if it looks too warm, I may pop it into the fridge. And so that's something to keep in mind. If your hands are really warm, then you don't want to be touching the dough with your hands a whole lot. You want to make sure the environment is cooler and as you're working with this dough. So I mentioned this on a previous video, but I roll with the rolling pin the way I do because I have a disc that kind of slips in my neck. But you do want to put kind of even pressure down and really get the dough evenly rolled out. So whatever way works best for you, you do that. This for me is less pain on my neck, and I had been already rolling for other videos on this same day. So is not super rectangular, but it will work. Actually, my middle is still higher than the rest of it, so I can bring this out that way just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take this off and I'm going to bring you up here so you can see exactly what I'm doing and what this looks like. So this being left behind is telling me that my dough is warmer. So we're going to see if I need to pop it in the fridge or not. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to cut some shapes out of here, and I am going to try to go rectangular. We will see what happens. This is probably not going to be the best batch of these, but that is okay. I feel like I am going to come like this, and then go down the middle of this. And we're going to make 4 with this. So I'm going to go ahead and line my cookie sheet with parchment. I also have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. And I'm going to use one of these cookie spatulas. And pull up this first stuff that I'm not using right this second. And then I'm going to pull up the one I am using, and man, is this warm. And I'm going to set that over here on the cookie sheet. So I'm going to be really honest here. When I started pulling this up, I knew I should have put this back in the fridge. But I was tired and it was getting later and I didn't really want to wait. So you can see how this dough is really struggling to come off. I called this my hot mess hand pie. And so just know that if you take the time and you put it back in the fridge and it's the right temperature, it's going to be so much easier to work with. But these do turn out great. They're just harder to work with. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to take my pie filling and I am going to fill up this little section over here. You want to have enough, because this is going to fold over, so you want to have enough for this to fold and to crease around the edges. So I might need to cut some of these. We'll see. You don't want to overfill because you don't want it to explode, but I don't want to underfill it either. Okay. So the store-bought canned pie filling that I've used in the past, they're in smaller chunks. So you can use that, or just chop these up ahead of time. I think they're going to be fine like this, so I'm just going for it. Because sometimes I'm a rebel, sometimes I'm not. Depends. In this instance, I'm going to be a rebel. Okay, so we have the pie filling. Now we need to take this and kind of fold it up and over and connect the 3 sides without puncturing any holes, which I am doing right here. So I'm going to do that over here as well. And then this thickness is not rolled evenly. That's part of the problem on this one. It's much thinner on this back side than it was on the bottom. And I'm going to show you how I am going to problem solve that, and how I'm going to problem solve my slit one right here. So that pie dough that I did not end up using, I am going to piece on over this. And I'm going to piece over this corner right here, because I did not get that covered pretty much at all. Okay. Now, what I need to do is very carefully take the fork, and you're going to want to not stab the other ones, but you want to use the fork and kind of pull forward and crease. If you push straight down right here, it's going to puncture holes. So you want to have your fork kind of at an angle and pulling it forward. And this is going to help crimp the top and the bottom doughs together, hopefully without a bunch of leakage. Right, so we're going to kind of do the same thing right here, and hopefully make it a little bit cleaner. Okay, so crimp down right here. Okay, same thing on this one, crimp down. This one's looking kind of hot messy, but that's okay. It'll be a sweet disaster. All right, that's starting to come apart right there, but that's okay. So now I'm going to take it. I already have an egg wash made from the pot pie I have in the oven. So I'm going to just rub my egg wash on this, trying to be careful not to tear the top of this. But this will give a beautiful golden brown color. Now, if you wanted to, before you egg wash this, at this point, you could pop this in the freezer and allow it to freeze on the baking sheet. And then once it's totally frozen, you can put them in a freezer bag and then heat them up whenever you want to. So if you make a bunch of these all at once, and you can do that, and you'll have stuff for easy desserts or whatever, depending on what you fill it with. So you could do that, but you would not want to egg wash it yet if that's what you were doing. I think you would probably want to put the slits in it though. I normally put the slits in after the egg wash. So we'll see. All right, so that's covered with the egg. I am going to take a butter knife. So I'm going to take my butter knife, and just like a pie, you're going to want to give this little steam vents. That way it doesn't explode or crease out somewhere where you don't want it to crease. So this gives it an escape, and it puts less pressure on some of those weak points that you may have. Okay, so this is going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. I would start checking it at 25. This is really going to depend on how big you've made yours, how much fillings in them, all of the things. So just start checking it probably 20-25 minutes. It goes in at 400 degrees, and then they'll be very richly golden brown, which you'll see when they come out. So I'm going to put the rest of this filling in the fridge, get these in the oven, and we'll meet back here to see how cute and yummy these turn out. And there they are. I did have a little bit of seepage out the side here and right there, but that's okay. They're still going to eat deliciously well. I'm going to get them off of this pan and onto a plate to cool, and then I'm going to allow them to cool completely before eating them. I'm so excited about these. I don't know why I never really thought about making these before, but man, are they so good. So these are not totally cool. However, like, they have a good flaky crust. I'm gonna grab a butter knife. So I'm gonna cut this one in half. So you can kind of see, like, it holds its shape. It's very flaky, warm, delicious. Oh, it's hot. That's good. These are a great treat on a warm day. Let's say you're having a snow day. You come in from a snow day and have one of these fresh out of the oven. So good. And they're gluten-free. Nobody will know. So delicious. We're going to go enjoy these, and we will see you on the next video. If you like this recipe, make sure you subscribe. I should have all of these on, I should have this on the blog. I'll have the previous ones on down listed below, the previous videos, the crust and the turkey pot pie. So yummy. So make sure you check out those if you haven't, and I'm going to go eat my dessert. Have a great night.